All right, we're here. Andy's really ready to go. So we're gonna do it, and then I'm gonna send the GPX and stuff. Okay. That's how they log it. Yeah, I'm doing all that. We're not leaving any of that to Andy. Anyway, I feel all right if a little nauseous with anxiety. Andy has a stiff neck, a headache, just stiff neck. And I think both his tib anteriors are inflamed.
But apart from that.
All right, gang. We are starting about 20 minutes late, but we're basically ready. Everyone has done their wheeze in the bushes. Andy has delightfully informed me that his poo shot out of him because of all the Vaseline. So that's great. Okay, we're gonna get started at 7:19.
Principal. Come around.
Huh? No, I'm not filming you. We're just passing through Lime Park.
We'll put Mr. Blue Sky on. Morning! That's right at the beginning. Morning, morning. Do, 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 do. Sun is shining in the sky. It's cool. See the cloudy side. Oh, then they've got that bridge bit.
5 kilometres. Andy's just vaselining his gooch again. So I'm having a little jog up here and he'll catch up with me in a sec. Alright, we're at the highest point of the route already. All downhill from here, right? Nutrition watch. Got the first flapjack down and I've got Kendall Mint Cake down. First hour down. $10K. All right, we're coming up to one of the steeper climbs on the route, but it should be really good views from the top. We did move a little bit faster than I expected over the first like 8K, but the last few K have been quite a bit slower, just because we've had a lot of like turns and gates and then this climb, so it'll all balance out, I think. $15K. Heading up Teg's Nose. Okay, we're just past 20K. We are not really moving at quite the pace I'd maybe like, but it's just there's been a lot of like up a bit, down a bit, going through a bunch of gates, so that's slowing down a lot, which is a bit annoying, but I think in the second half we get a lot less of that. We are a half marathon distance in, 3 hours and 8 minutes, which yeah is behind pace, But I am hoping we've just got sections coming up that are just a section of running and not having to like open and close gates all the time and go up and down little bits. This is quite a steep hill, but it's in the shade and there's wind blowing at us at the minute. Considering we missed the water fill up at Tegno's and we're not sure where this mysterious field tap is, we'll take a bit of cooler hiking. This might be the longest hill in the world.
Yeah, that's what you've done today.
It's just, it's not quite runnable. It's going on forever. We're going to be not even sub 8 hours at this rate. It happens, doesn't it? Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for letting us through. Thank you very much. Just gonna keep talking nice and calmly so we get past the cows.
I'm faster than you, so much.
There we go. Beautiful. That's how you do it. Right, we have. We are past halfway. We just hit 28k. Yeah, it's just that first half. There's just so many like steep steps. And it's just really difficult to like maintain much of a pace, which is annoying. But we're into the second half now, so we'll have more stretches where we've not got to like do all that faff. Okay, we're past 30k, so we have only 25k to go, although the numbers are just gonna keep getting smaller. I'm feeling okay. I'm maybe a little bit concerned about whether we're gonna miss this tap or not, but I think we'll be fine. We found a tap. I don't know if it's the tap, but we're risking it. If we shit ourselves, then we know it's dodgy. Alright, so the tap is where Andy is at the minute. Again, don't know if it's the tap, but we are going to risk it because we don't know if there's another one for sure. You know how I said that in the second half we'd be able to pick up the pace a bit because we'd have more just like runnable sections? So I think that was a lie. Unfortunately, stopping at the tap, like we needed to stop at it, but it added a lot of time onto that kilometre, unfortunately. And then like the section after the tap, there's just loads of like kind of steep bits, downhill bits that are really overgrown, so it's just difficult to like pick up a pace really. Okay, this is a bit silly. Jesus, it's like we just start to pick up a bit of pace and then this happens. What was that, Andy?
You can definitely do a half marathon.
You fancy doing a half marathon?
Not in nettles.
Yeah, we're still in the nettles. This is actually shit. I'm in quite a bad mood just because my legs are like covered in nettle stinks now, because I'm getting so like pissed off with it that I'm just running through them, and now I'm just getting like lacerated. This bit of trail is absolute wank. Oh, I'm so pissed off. It just keeps going.
Like
just keeps going. You seriously feel like we're in Nam?
Yeah. You went there, man.
Just in case you're still wondering, overgrown shit is still happening, but I think we're nearly out of it.
We ain't out of the woods yet.
Freedom! Alright, Andy's just having a sock change. I've slammed the rest of my Coke. I am struggling to get calories in now. Like, I've got a Kindle Mint cake left, a gel left, and some other bits and pieces, but I really cannot like face the idea of eating them at the minute. It's just been really hot and we're not getting quicker, so I might be running the last 10k on just like pure anger, I think, because I'm annoyed that we're not getting quicker. I'd really hoped we could pick the pace up. Fucking overgrown bullshit by the river. Slowed us down so much. I don't know if there's ever like a right time of year to do a route like this, because obviously this time of year they're just overgrown bits. They're just there and you can't really do anything about them unless you want to run it supported and have someone go ahead of you with a machete, I guess. But obviously if you run it in the winter, it's muddy and it's slow for that reason, so you just gotta suck it up and deal with what we've got. And we are into the last 20k though, so okay, 18k left, which doesn't really sound like a lot. So we know we've got a steep climb, and then in the last 10k there's quite a bit of uphill, but it looks relatively shallow compared to our next climb that's coming up, so that should be easier to handle. Alright, big climb time. Are we excited for big climb? No, it's not actually big climb time, but it's nearly big climb time. We've got, I think, to cross a road before we start climbing up to, I think it's called the Cloud or something like that. A hill. Oh dear. Okay, here's big climb. Oh, that descent actually wasn't particularly nice either. Just gonna moan about everything now. So we're gonna get through. A bit of complaining. Okay, we've hit 40k, 15k left. We have a bit of wiggling, and then we've got like, I think like a 2k stretch of canal path, which we might just try and hammer. Yeah, just not getting faster. Stuff just keeps happening that means we like move a bit slower or have to stop or whatever, so that just continues to be frustrating, but I think we're just going to really push it down that canal path. We are coming up to the marathon distance. I am not getting a marathon PB today, that's for sure, but we are hoping that we're about to hit like a bit of canal path. If it's overgrown, I probably will cry, so that'll be exciting for Andy.
Yeah, buddy!
But if it's nice, flat and runnable, I will probably also cry, but just like with relief. It's flat, it's not overgrown. This might be the most exciting bit of the fucking day.
Come on, Jen.
Let's go. Let's fucking go. We have less than 10k to go. Yeah, eating's a struggle. I've just like forced some calories in. I'm drinking okay, but I haven't been for a wee in quite a while, so I'm a bit concerned about that. But we have less than 10k to go. Not doing good. Energy's taking a bit of a dive. We have like 6k left though, and it should be pretty much all downhill and flat, so at the very least I can just grind it out. Not good. Steps. Steps, steps, steps.
Oh, you have to go up them?
I think so.
Give me 10 minutes.
Oh, fuck. We missed the record by 4 minutes. I feel pretty frustrated. I just feel like I still can't put one of these long trail races together when it matters the most. This is the second time I've had it where the practice effort has gone really well and felt great, and then the actual thing that I'm aiming for has not. Ultimately, it just boiled down to the fact that I can't handle the heat. Now, there were some improvements in that we hit the 50k mark faster than I did the Haworth Hobble back in March. So that does indicate that I did successfully manage to heat adapt a bit over the summer, because it was obviously a lot hotter yesterday than it was back at the beginning of March. We happened to have an unseasonably warm day for Haworth Hobble, and I just, because of having done a winter training block, I just wasn't ready for it. But obviously I've had a summer to adjust a bit better, and I feel like that did show to some extent yesterday, but there is still a point that I obviously just still can't handle at all. The first 15k went really, really smoothly, and the first like 3 hours I was eating pretty well, but as it started to get hotter, I just couldn't get the calories in. Once that starts happening, it becomes quite difficult to continue to maintain a good pace and recover your pace. So the heat pretty much killed the effort in many regards. There were a few places where Andy and I could have worked together a lot better. This was our first time running together at all. Just go straight in with a 55k ultramarathon. And there were points where we could have been way more efficient and worked together to cut the amount of time we were spending faffing and doing stuff. Like when we stopped to fill up water, I could have helped Andy fill his water up. While he was faffing around with his water bladder, I could have filled up his bottle, but I just sort of left him to it. Looking back, it should have been obvious that I should have just got involved and filled one of the things up for him. And that probably would have cut the amount of time we spent at that tap by a couple of minutes. And when Andy needed to change his socks, he could have just run on ahead a bit because he's faster than me, and stopped at the next sort of logical point, changed his socks, and then we probably could have saved 4 or so minutes. So already, even with just like not even moving faster, but just being more efficient, we're looking at like several minutes of time saved. And if we had done that, we would have the record. It still feels really frustrating to know that I was in a good place in terms of my fitness, and I could not translate that into the goal that I was aiming for. Like I couldn't even get particularly close. Now, I feel like I need to do maybe a bit of examining as to why this keeps happening. Like, is it something I'm consistently missing or doing wrong that means I keep getting into this position where I feel good, like my fitness is really good, I make loads of improvements across the board, but then when it comes to doing the effort or race or whatever, that I'm actually aiming for, I miss the mark. I haven't had this problem with the road stuff, so I feel it's probably just the puzzle pieces that you get when you're doing these really long off-road things that are just harder for me to put together. And maybe it is just a case of I have to keep doing them until I have instances where the stars align and the weather isn't really hot and I don't have some other kind of problem. The list of issues does seem to keep growing. When I first tried to do Saddleworth 10 res, I got an injury not long before and had to pull out. The second time I tried to do it, I DNF'd about halfway around because my shoes malfunctioned. The third time I did Saddleworth, I did get round, but I just didn't handle the taper very well, and then the weather on the day was absolutely traumatic. So that didn't go very well. My first attempt at round Rotherham, I think went about as well as your first ultra would be expected to go, so I don't really think about that one too much. Haworth Hobble, obviously I trained really well, I felt like I was really fit, and then the weather was just warmer than I was ready for on the day, and I got to halfway and just realised I had to like slow down so that I didn't pass out and die. I had Holmos last year where it was just really hot and I DNF'd because I started to get heat stroke. But Holmos this year went really well. I ate well, moved well, but it was a lot cooler. So maybe that's just it. I just have to keep trying, and at some point one of the goal races or goal efforts that I'm actually aiming for will go according to at least the general plan. On another note, I think the Gritstone Trail is a good route. It's got some incredible views and some really interesting historical bits along the way. I can understand why it's a lot more common to do it as kind of a 2 to 3 day hiking trip. There are lots of sections that feel like they probably should be runnable, but the ground is like really uneven, or there's overgrown bits, or there's just lots of like gates and stiles to go in and out of, or there's lots of like little steep up, steep down sections, like really steep sets of stairs that you just can't really go down at any pace. So in terms of like a runnable route, there's a lot of space for us to optimize on a second attempt, but ultimately the main issue was the heat. I don't think I could have done anything differently yesterday to have moved faster. I don't feel there's too much else to mention. We should have been more efficient, we could have been more efficient, and we just need to next time do it at a cooler time of year. And those are the two main takeaways. It's time to bank that, move on to the next training block. Obviously I'm going to take some time to make sure my legs feel good, just build the mileage back up to a reasonable point before I go into my next training block, and over the autumn and winter we'll be looking at the roads mostly. So that's one more lesson in the bank, and we live and learn and move on. Alright, thank you very much for watching, and I will catch you in the next one.